I think there's no doubt that the McCain campaign, because of the
Furnishings for the set of the Buddy Pough Show are provided by Wood-Ash Furnishings. Wood-Ash Furnishings is a proud sponsor of the Buddy Pough Show.
Our coach, South Carolina State won the toss. You told me before the game you'd made up your mind what you'd do if you won it.
Well, we said we were going to take the football, and it's a little bit unusual for us because we generally defer, but, you know, we want to let our offense set the tone, and I think we did a good job of getting started there.
Philip Morris on the return. Bulldogs beginning 1st and 10 on our own 25-yard line. Strong game from Malcolm Long at quarterback.
We started with a naked series, and Malcolm threw a ball out to Octavius Darby to get him going.
Octavius Darby, the second leading receiver on this team coming into this football game, and there's Philip Morris, who had another big game as well.
Right, and Philip feels like he should have gone farther there because he almost regained his balance.
First possession, coach, really kind of get Florida A&M back on their heels. You pass the football, come out throwing, and then you go to Will Ford.
Right, Will is having a really good year, had another big game this game, about 150 yards or so.
Long out of a empty backfield. This down to Trey Young, I think it is, and that's Anthony Campbell.
That's Anthony Campbell, yeah. What we do is we get Anthony in there, and I empty set some, and he's about as good a receiver as a runner, so we like to throw it to him some.
Catch by Philip Morris. They said he was out of bounds. We would turn it over to Florida A&M on downs on that first possession, but boy, it was difficult for their defense to recover from that.
Right, and this is Raphael Bush making a play here, and then Said Lord strips the ball out of his hand. Said we teach our guys, our defensive linemen, when they rush on these screens to retrace and go back in the same direction they came from. He goes out, makes a big play here for us.
So Florida A&M had the football just one play, turns it back over to South Carolina State. Malcolm Long gets some yards, keeping it himself.
You see old Sweet Feet here, Malcolm Long running a little scramble play.
Bulldogs deep in Rattler territory. As I mentioned, the Rattlers only had the football one play. Philip Morris on a little crossing route.
Nice little throw here and catch. And, you know, we're in pretty tight quarters. I think it's 4th and inches. And, you know, we put Zach Middleton and Travell Jameson in there, and Travell gets a gain of about 2.
Such a punishing run, and Travell Jameson picking up the first down, and then you go back up top. A nice play here, and what about the effort?
This is the Trey Young show here. And what Trey does is gets all the way from the front side all the way to the back, and that play generally turns up a little bit sooner, but he got it across the field and got in the end zone and scored.
Bulldogs get into the end zone now. Point after touchdown by Blake Erickson is good. Still in the first quarter with 8:55 to go. Bulldogs up 7-0. Coach, and you got to be feeling pretty good at this point.
We are. And, you know, Aaron Hare had a really good game this game, too. He kicks off here, and this Leroy Van kid, who we're going to hear more about later in the game, steps out at about the 7-yard line, so it gives us real good field position.
Curtis Pulley in at quarterback. He's a transfer from Kentucky. They alternate quarterbacks on every possession. Marshall McFadden with the tackle as they dig out of the deep territory.
He threw a ball to that Isaac West guy, and, you know, he had a lot of catches against us this game. And then Pulley scrambles around, and, you know, I think Raphael Bush finally gets him down.
Pulley had 50 yards rushing on the first half, and that was what he did best, but throws here, excellent completion and catch by Kevin Elliott.
Yeah, this Elliott guy is a freshman for them, too. They got a couple real good young receivers, so they're going to be tough for years to come. Isaac
West on the reception there, on a little slant across the middle. Marshall McFadden on the tackle, and Florida A&M looking to answer the score from South Carolina State.
Right, and Phillip Adams almost intercepts this ball, and Marquis gets a chance at it too, Marquis Hamlin, but we don't quite get it. And then they try to kick the field goal, and they do miss the field goal.
Trevor Scott's field goal attempt from 39 yards is wide to the right, so the Bulldogs keep the Rattlers off the board. Still 4:41 to go in the first quarter, and South Carolina State going back on the attack, and that Rattler defense yet to recover from the first drive.
Right, and we start with a little play-action pass here, and we hit Trey Young across the middle on the dig route.
Big day for Trey Young, as well as Philip Morris and Malcolm Long, of course, and this time, this is Trey Young again.
And Trey makes another play here. Got to work on that ball security a little bit, but he turns it up into the crowd and gets a big game for us.
Coach, you know, we talk about the receivers and the skill people, but that offensive line really did a good job of protecting Malcolm again.
Did a nice job. Those guys here run a nice play here with Travell Jameson run the ball, and I see guys like Darby and Javard Nathan and Johnny Coburn and all those guys making nice plays. There's Will Ford again making a nice game.
Get the flare to Will Ford out of the backfield, who's very adept at catching the football. And again, here Trey Young goes again.
Right. And what they're doing is they're trying to blitz us up the middle a good bit, and they're kind of avoiding the middle. be rubbing off a linebacker or something underneath there and getting the football to Trey, and then he goes and scores.
Point after touchdown is no good. That point really looms large at this point of the football game. Bulldogs up 13-0 as we head into the second quarter. Can it be this easy, Coach, against Florida A&M?
Well, you know, you're thinking, well, let's see if we can make it this easy. But, of course, you know they're coming back. And, you know, this battle kid here that they get to, they're moving the quarterback, and they're alternating the two of them.
It's not a good play here. Demetric Henry on the flea flicker. Bad toss back to the quarterback. Big play by the Bulldog defense, Tony White.
You see Tony being real smart. That Tony tried to put his hat in there and take the football from him, but he didn't quite get it.
Battle, back to pass. You mentioned me, Coach. He was perfect on the night in completions, completing one there.
11 of 11. I don't know if I would have taken him out if I were them, because he was hot as a firecracker.
The pitch to Philip Sylvester, and check out the play by Sid Lord about the containment.
Lord makes a lot of plays for us, and I don't know how many plays he made in this game. He caused fumbles and caused touchdowns because he knocked the ball down later on in the same series here and makes a touchdown for us. So
key play here.
Right here. You know, he knocks the ball down, and Terry Smith is really heads up and picks the ball up and runs in for a score. And, you know, at the point when he picked it up, I didn't know whether they were going to give it to us or not, but eventually they did.
44 yards on the fumble recovery by Terrence Smith on the lateral. Point after touchdown is good. South Carolina State on top 20-0 over Florida A&M, and they had about 17,000 people there. They were in shock, as were the Rattlers.
Well, you know, we were all in shock a little bit, but even at that point, I never felt really comfortable. And, you know, I was trying to make our guys understand that, you know, this was not it yet.
See a good crowd of Bulldog fans that made the trip down. About 400 or 500 folks made it down to Tallahassee Saturday night. Curtis Pulley now back at quarterback with the completion, and the Rattlers would take it down to the Bulldog 1.
Yeah, they get it down close here. You know, one of the things that happens is you know, you want to try to keep him out right here at the end of the half, and then Terrence Smith makes another play. I guess maybe in a 5-minute span, he makes two really big plays. And I thought he was going to go all the way here for a second, but they finally get him down. And then they call holding back there, so it really wouldn't have counted, but it was still an exciting play.
That was the way the first half ended Saturday. South Carolina State leading Florida A&M 20-0. We'll be back.